Okay, so I finished the last page of the Raven, and that's 24 pages done. I need to go back through here and make sure that everything is set up the way that it needs to be set up so that I can ink it all. So I'm actually going to open all the pages to be sure. I don't need all of them open, but I'm going to open them all just to make sure that they look good, because it's taken a while since I've seen them all in detail. Like, you know, actually like scour through them to make sure that they're good. I know on this one, I know that the final page is done. And there might be some spoiler in here if you want to read this the way that, you know, from front to back, you don't want any spoils and stuff. Obviously, you've been following these videos. I kind of started like towards the middle of the book, videotaping these. But if for some reason you don't want to see the finished product from, you know, front to back, then don't watch this. Or really don't watch any of them, because you're going to see a lot of spoilers. So what I suggest is reading it when it's done, which won't be too long from now. But if you just want to see the process, which is what I'm trying to share here, I'm just trying to show you what I do, how I'm getting it done, and how the process that I use. And I'm kind of haphazard. I got a bit of the ADHD, so I kind of jump all over the place. But eventually it gets done. There's a method to my madness. So page 23, I'm pretty sure I need to add some dialogue here, but it's pretty done. I was pretty sure that that's done, is what I was trying to say. This one's done. It's just meant to be a missing poster. Hopefully you can tell that this poster here is this poster. Just going for something a little cinematic, and people passing like they're not really paying any mind to it. And that one should be good. I'm going to go back through and shade some of that stuff too, but I think that I'm just making sure that the drawings are good right now. That should be good. The bird, I need to do these speed lines here, but again, that's something I can do when I'm finished and I'm inking. That's more of a finished, polished thing. So I'm going to close that one. And this one, like I said, I do need to do the speech bubbles for these three people standing here. Oh, okay then. This one is, well, in the words of Jerry Cantrell, pretty done. They're pretty done. That's him flying into the window and staring at her, being creepy. And her shock, because she did listen to in context, it makes sense. This is drawn. It's pretty done. Just needs to be inked. I'm just looking for any hiccups that I need to fix real quick. And this one down here is done. It's just, I need to flip the blue to black. Some of it doesn't need to be that black. I just did it there for an experiment. I was trying to see how it would look. Kind of negaposy, where the blue lines would be the white and the black would stand out, like going for complete darkness. But I think I'm going to flip it so it's a little less dark than that. Kind of shade it a little better. So far this one is staying open. Page 23. And this is done. It just needs to be inked. I know that this is done. Some of these panels pages I spent more time on and refining. He needs to be black and white, and I have him colored because he came from the animation. If you saw the animation that I did, he's so right now I can fix that really quickly. I can just turn him black. I think he's fine otherwise. I'm going to just do convert him to black. So I'm going to do tonal correction, brightness, and contrast. Well, my apologies. Where did that go? It's not, for some reason. Oh, there it is. Wow, I was behind my mic. That's why. This is fine if you want to darken it and contrast it, obviously. What I want to do is change the color. So tonal correction to hue saturation. You pull the saturation down, it turns it to a gray shade. And if you pull luminosity back, it'll blacken it completely and give you the effect of this character in the dark, which I can do, but I think I'm just going to think I'm going to leave him like that so you get a glimpse of what he looks like. And I do want him to look, he looks like his neck is kind of pushed back because he's like terrified. He's terrified, like, that's kind of what I was going for. So he looks a little odd there, but that's just how I decided I wanted to draw him. So he's good there. He needs to be inked. Anywhere there's like heavy shading, or especially heavy shading like this in the doorway back here, is black. And anything that's sort of this mid-tone is going to be more gray. I just kept it as a placeholder for myself, so that should be good. Oh yeah, I did. Like I said, I started going a little harder on some of this. So that one's done. This one is done. It just needs to be... This hallway needs to be inked up. I do need to sketch a hallway here, so I'm going to leave that open. I started doing this because I was looking at the first page and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I didn't do all that. Like, I got it done where I was happy, but I didn't actually do some of the background elements because I thought, oh, I'll do it, go and come back. Well, that time has arrived. Oh man. Yeah. Most of this just needs sort of a dark background that's partly lit because they're in the woods. There might be a little bit of moonlight, but it's mostly just going to be darkness, so not too much detail in that. And yeah, there's one of the reveals. This needs to be drawn better on these guys here. I don't like the way I sketched them. I was just in kind of a rush to finish up this panel. I spent more time on her than I did on them, but she was also going to be cast in shadow quite a bit, so I wasn't worried too much about detail. And she's wearing shoes, so... Anyway, she should look okay. The tree is ominous looking. That was the point. And yeah, this is going to be kind of like a little parking space here. Like I said, most of this is just going to be kind of in black, but black background. I'm not trying to cheat the backgrounds necessarily, but it's because they're in like absolute darkness. It looks a little... He's a little off here. I might adjust this a little. His nose is a little high. It's actually kind of aligned this way. It should be aligned this way, even though he's looking up. So that needs to be fixed real quick. Yep, didn't finish this. So to recap, make sure that I have... This one's actually done. I don't know why I didn't close this one. This one's good. I mean, there's some things I need to refine, but otherwise it's fine. This just needs the conversation. This is fine. This needs the hallway, though. That's right. For the most part, that's good. I might do some trees in the background and like some light ground coloring and graying, but it won't be much to do. It's sort of part of the finish process. This too, where the raven's going to be hiding very subtly in the background back here. He's going to be more like a silhouette. Well, almost a silhouette, like just faintly you can see him. It's sort of like an Easter egg, I guess. But otherwise, that's pretty good. Yeah, I need to fix those. These are good. This guy needs to be fixed. I didn't finish her. I was just in a rush to get the idea down. I was like, I'll throw her. I wanted to get the pages going first before I refined anything. Then as I got closer to the end, I was like, okay, well, I'm going faster than I intended. Or faster than I expected, so it's okay for me to just slow down. Her jawline's a little... It's a little much. Hang on. It's a little pronounced forward. Let me just see. Considering how robust her lip structure is, and then her jaw is very pointy from the front, so I wanted to give her more of a sharp look to her jawline. And then her lips are a little bit much for the size they are compared to the other panels, so I'll pull her lips back a little bit, because your lips, yes, they do tend to line up pretty well for most people, but she has sort of a almost cartoony looking lip structure, you know? But not so big. Like, I still don't like the way her jaw is coming out, so her ear's a little far back. I don't know. I don't really love the way this side pose looks here on this one. But it's okay. Can always fix it. And the bridge of her nose. Of course, it tends to go inward a little bit more than that. But she's got like a little upturned cute nose. A little pixie type thing going on. This should flatten off a little bit. I think that's partly the problem. So if you're looking at it from the front, it would flatten off a little bit. And then the height, maybe the height of it too. See, like, this is the kind of stuff that I was saying you can come back and refine it. Yeah, I think that's a little better. Yeah, that's closer to what I was going for with her. And your lip kind of pulls down from the bottom of your nose like that. Depends on the person. And also with the side eye, I mean, I did this sort of manga style, but like with the side eye, oftentimes, especially if you're dead on, you're tending to see the eye to do this, which I didn't draw here. So it makes your eye look a little like you're just turning to this side where you can start to see, but it should still. So she has round edges to her eyes, and that's why I did it that way. But she should still have an impression of that, and like maybe her eye, something along those lines. It's a little too pronounced here. Let me pull this back a little bit. You just have to think about how the shape works in perspective. It helps seal the deal. Hang on. I'm not happy with the way I'm drawing that. So her eye has this, comes right off the side there. So really it should come here. And then I'm going to erase this part of it. That's sort of the effect that her eye has on these other panels. It does close off those, so I will close it off, especially from this angle, because it's going to be really intense looking. Let's give her a little eyelash. Just kind of want to make her look like she's in thought. she's kind of staring off, like not necessarily staring at someone. She just looks like she's staring ahead, like she's getting a little paranoid. But her jawline's I think it's a little tight here. I'm just gonna loosen her up just a little bit. Gives her some depth to her hair. Okay. And other than that, I think that's okay for now. I say for now because I might come back and change it. I don't know for sure. For the most part, I think it's okay. I might change my mind. I don't know. Profile drawing can be kind of a pain. I say that, and I think I still want to tighten up her jawline a little bit. I don't know why. It's not. If you can tell me why, I'm all ears. If you know why I'm screwing this up, please let me know. Sometimes I'm not paying any attention to the most obvious things. But let me cut this jawline down. So she's going to have sort of of course, your jawline does come off the side here. Your mandible. And then for her, I think I was going to make her a little sharper. Yeah. There we go. That's better. And then her, your platysma that comes down, it rolls off the back of your chin. It kind of comes down here. Sort of does this. I don't want her neck to be too big because it makes her look like a man. Okay. There might be a little bit of significant amount of space between her eye and her ear here, but I think it's okay. I mean, I can always move it up a little bit. Am I nitpicking? I might be nitpicking. Hang on a second. I'm going to reference just for spacing difference. No, it's actually pretty good. It's not, I mean, obviously it depends on the person, how big their head is and all that kind of stuff, but it kind of tends to keep an equidistant, relatively speaking, to the person's head as their head expands like a balloon would expand. The 2 points are equidistant in terms of movement. As the head gets bigger, the pieces are going to move out, or the dots, and as it gets smaller, the dots move in. So if her head were smaller, her ear should be closer to her eye. In this case, I think she's okay, actually. I think I'm overthinking it. The base of your skull back here, and then your spinal column comes down, and all that meat that you have for your neck, all your muscles and things. And her hair is kind of covering a lot of that up. And her hair is a little disheveled because she's out in the wilderness. You think she might throw her hair up in a pony or something, but I guess she's just hanging with friends and didn't care. So that should be good. These backgrounds, like I said, are mostly, their faces will be lit, but mostly the background is just going to be darkness. Because, again, campfire. So that's kind of like when I get to render them into the inked drawing. That's kind of something I need to think about. Kind of ink and shade at the same time instead of just inking over something that was already been shaded. Oh, man. Just how I do it. Kind of wing it as I go. These are all good. I just need to add some circlies to the words. This one here where she's talking. I need to probably need to put that on a separate line or a second bubble or something like that, just so it fits in here and covers this whole section. But I'm not too worried about the bubbles. All of these need it. He looks a little bit young here in this picture. as compared to here. And I didn't mean for that to happen, so let's see. Usually it's just because the features are being too close. I turn this fan on, man. It's hot. Let's see. If we... No. Make them bigger, but I'm also going to make these features a little wider, taller. Hopefully that's going to help me. I mean, he's getting, you know, you can tell he's getting kind of annoyed. I think it's because his face is too round. He kind of looks like he's got baby fat on him. And his chin is a little too low. So I'm actually going to pull his chin and stuffs. Down a little bit more. So he still looks beefy, but he looks a little bit bigger, you know? I think, all right? So you tend to be a little bit... As you get older, your stuff spreads out, right? So that makes more sense that he'd... His nose would be longer. His face would be longer. The only other thing is that his eye shape, too, is a little too almond. The way that he is drawn later, it's a little bit more squared off. And I think that's messing with my perception of him looking like the same character. If you look at him compared to, like, here, it's how rectangular his eyes are and how wide his nose is. So I'm going to widen him up a little bit. A bit much. I know it's just the size of the brush, but it looks kind of off because of that. It's hard for me, to be able to see the lines. I'm like, I don't really know what I'm looking at. All right, so it's a little bit more accurate to him being older, and his mouth should be a little bigger. All right, so maybe his nose doesn't actually need to be that tall. We're going to move it up here a little bit. See, he looks a little bit older there to me. And also, I think his eyes, like I said, they should be squared off more. So I think I'm going to do that. Kind of going for like he's in, you know, he's a skeptic. So I wanted him to be more rigid looking. I also wanted him to be the kind of counterintuitively from traditional stories that the big strong guy is a moron. He's actually quite smart. And he's the skeptic with, you know, he's got a clean health of skepticism. I mean, of course, it's supposed to be fun campfire story, but he's like, come on, please make it believable. Is that good? Okay, so his iris isn't right here because The size of this iris is not matching the other one. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Oh, I just realized his nose is different too. Let me see. Yeah, I had his nose kind of like curled up, and here I have it kind of... I'm just going to steal my own picture. Gonna steal this because it's not coming off the way I'd like it to be. Positioning and everything is okay, but yeah, see, like, and there we go. It works. That's all it was. He just looks too much like a kid here in this picture, and I don't like it, so I'm gonna just do the same thing for that one. I'm gonna change his mouth structure basically. Just gonna copy that, lock this, push that one over her, and grab this frame. Let me paste that on there. And oh, I have to unlock this before I can even do anything with it. Oh, I keep wanting to copy the whole frame instead of copying the drawing. There you go. So he's throwing myself off of that. Oops. So he just has a different mouse structure. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just erase this mouth off of... I know this is kind of goofy looking, but give me a second. If I can take this, copy this and paste it here, swap that. And then I can just change up some of his facial features, like have his eyes doing different things. See, his eyes here were kind of like, what? I'm going to have him do kind of like a one side wink kind of thing. Let's see, is it this one? Yeah. Where's this? Close. We're just going to delete that one. All right, then. So I'm just going to I'm going to erase this portion like this of his eye. And have him kind of like turning his eye upward, like, what? He's like, and your first thought is to go to the... Yeah. And then maybe like this. And I'll turn his cheek up a little, like, what? If you want to go really into it, you know, your cheek would compress on this side, and kind of like when you're moving your muscles and things around in your face stuff, you know, it moves around. I mean, you have to think about that. So if you wanted to do something, it's like, really? That's a little exaggerated, but just a subtle push of the structure there. Oh wait, it looks like he's like, really, dude? It kind of looks like he's pushing that meat on his face to the left-hand side. If that makes sense. Oh, I didn't fix a zero on this side either. So lock that down. Go to this one. Let's fix the 0 over here. And also the way that he's, the face he's making is actually making it where it's squishing, and he's kind of turning just a little bit. You can see his ear a little bit more, only because it's compressing here. It's an exaggeration. It's kind of a cartoon exaggeration. But I think for the effect of getting the emotion across, it helps. This is a little too big, I think. So I'm going to just draw that back in here. Otherwise, I think it's good. I just got to go through and do all the bubbles, which that's not too much work. The bubbles are kind of when I say the bubbles, this, the speech bubbles that wrap around the text. In Clip Studio Paint, it creates a second layer, or it actually combines the speech bubble with the text layer. So it's easier to make the speech bubble, put the text on top, move that around as separate layers. But for whatever reason, it does it that way. It combines it, and you can't edit the text. I don't know why it does it that way. It just does. So it would be easier to do the bubble separately on its own layer. It automatically wraps around the text. It's just what it does. I don't know if there's a setting to change that, but just for an FYI. But all these bubbles need to get done. I'm not going to do those right now. I'll do that the next time. Close that one. Yeah, these are done down here. They just need to be inked, and it needs to be blacked out and all that good stuff. I love how angry he looks here. He's so annoyed. These are good. Super concerned looking there. This one needs to be refined. Like I said, I'll come back and do all the bubbles. I'm not as worried about those. His nose, again, needs to be flattened here. And here. I can maybe try to do those two real quick. About half an hour show. These aren't page by page now. I'm just kind of, like I said, I'm winging, looking around and fixing any issues I see before I go through and try to ink everything. So these two, he looks like, I don't know why, he kind of reminds me of Hercules there. I got to fix that up a little bit. It's really his eye structure. It shouldn't be as round as I made it there. It should be squared more because that's how he looks in the other panels. And his nose needs to be turned over. Easy fix. This needs to be fully finished drawn. It's almost there. I really just need to add her hands, her outfit, her face, obviously. But that's a whole drawing in and of itself. And his eyes are turned upward here. I really should turn them down and have his eyeball looking forward. And his nose. So basically this whole portion of his face needs to be rotated. These guys need to be finished. See, he looks good there to me. Like, his nose is a bit big. He does look good, but I'm not happy with the way his nose looks. So I can just take this. So his nose is going to look down a little more. We're going to do the bridge of the nose and then come down here. All right, that looks a little better to me. But he also does have sort of that bump on his nose. Cool daddy-o. So I'm going to close that. Well, I think he's okay, right? Like there's a little bit of upturn to his nose there. Sort of the lip structure here. Yeah. I think it looks good. I don't know why that's so bright. why I chose that. I don't know. My friend uses blue, and he's got me into using blue all the time, and now I'm using like different shades all the time. But I've been sticking with this one a lot. It's really soft on the eyes. It's an old school comic thing and animation thing to use blue. So this one just needs beach bubbles. This one needs to get refined drawings for the guys. That one. This one really just needs the background for the 2 panels. And that's basically this one. So really the background for this one I can just copy from that one because it's the same angle. So I'm going to copy this over, make this fast, you know, get this done. If you hear any crunching, that is my wife bagging things up for her business.
Yes, my apologies.
I don't apologize. It's fine. She's making money. So this, yeah, something like this, right? So that's the light coming down. Yeah. So in comparison to this, actually, hang on. I just realized something. I forgot this is supposed to be underneath here. Just trying to figure out why that. Oh, I think the table is slightly different, isn't it? Not really sure why. Oh no, it's because it's where it's at. Yeah. No biggie smalls. Just gonna go here and blacken this out anyway, so we will. Let me just color this out, or erase this to the edge. Easy way to do that. Is to select this and that, delete it. Then we can just color fill this other part. Using reference to the other layer, we go back to this layer, and this really should be black, but boom, done. Now I have that drawing there. I can go back and I can refine that. Those lines here are supposed to be the light coming off of the lamp, and then the, hang on. This is the wall here. So it would be easier to go and finish this and bring it back over here and paste it in. And then I just need to do a little brick wall back here, a little brick wall here, and then kind of interpret which way these tiles should be going. Excuse me. I mean, for the most part, I've got a lot of this done, so pretty happy with that. Let's see. Let me just see where else I'm at right now. I might go ahead and stop it here and then turn this into a second video. So I think I'll do that. This is the end of this one. Thanks for watching if you are, and made it this far. Leave a comment, like, suggestion. What do you like about this? What don't you like about it? Do you like the comic book? Do you like the concept? Do you like the commentary? Do you like the artwork? Do you find any of it useful? Let me know something. Just you know, drop a like, drop a comment, share it or something. Or stay quietly in the shadows like the raven. I get it. I'm kind of a wallflower too, so I understand. Peace.